Slaying that jank.
Thank you in advance for checking out my video. If you liked it, I'd appreciate it if you like, comment, and most importantly subscribe to help support this channel.
Do it.
Thanks again. Hey guys, Trent here coming at you with another deck tech. Today we're going to look at a deck that I had been thinking about from a long time ago on whenever the format rotated, a way to still have a mono green deck and what it was going to be. We were looking at Nullhide Ferox and other cards, and what I was thinking was that there could be still a mono green hexproof version of this mono green Stompy deck in Standard. Well, it looks like I was correct, but someone has beaten me to it, so that's the deck I'm about to show you. So Bertram on Magic Online has been killing it with this mono green Stompy list, which is actually, I'm calling mono green hexproof because it utilizes the hexproof creatures with the Blanchwood armor package, as we've seen in Standards past. So it's pretty cool. I'm a little jealous because I wanted to make a deck like this. So far Bertram is 502 competitive leagues with the exact same list, so congratulations to them. It's a pretty sweet list. So we got playset of Land War Elves, so we can get that turn 2 Steel Leaf Champion, which is probably still one of the most powerful things you can do in Standard. Got a playset of Pelt Collector. You can get some early aggro on with those. New edition playset of Growth Chamber Guardian from last Standard. This card is a nice bit of card advantage that gets big as well. Beats down nicely. Got a playset of Crawl Harpooner, which is very important in the metagame right now because of mono blue flyers running around, as well as drakes and Feast of Sanity and all that stuff. So this is a really nice main board card, and it's sizable enough to beat down as well. Got 3 Thorn Lieutenants, a pretty good one. It has pseudo hexproof in the fact that you get a 1/1 if it gets targeted. Of course, you can pump mana into it in the late game and swing with a huge elf. Got that playset of Steel Leaf Champion you gotta have. That's the reason why we run Land War Elves. It's still just a beast. One of the best creatures you could ever cast for only 3 mana. So Vinemere's back in this version of the deck because it's the hexproof version. We do have Blanchwood armors and some adventurous impulses, so Nullhide Ferox might be okay, but this card with the Blanchwood armor on it is just going to be brutal to deal with. And of course it does have that nice can't be blocked by black creatures, which isn't as relevant in the metagame now, but it could come up. Got 3 Ghaltas. Of course it's just the big boy. Might as well cast it. You're going to have a lot of power on board. It can close the game out with one swing if it survives. Got a playset of Adventurous Impulse, just an excellent tutor. Gets us whatever we need, creature or land. Got 3 Blanchwood armors, don't want to overdo it, but we're running all forests, so of course it's going to make any creature huge, preferably a hexproof creature. And rounding out, we got 23 basic forests. Nice and simple. Sideboard, we can bring in a playset of Prey Upon, where we're playing against the mid-range decks that have decent enough creatures that we want to deal with them, and maybe against the stuff like Mono Blue where they have problematic flyers that we can't hit otherwise. Got a couple Shaper's Sanctuary for those matchups with, again, heavy removal. Got 3 as token archers, which are my belief specifically for the Mono Blue matchup because there's a lot of 1 toughness flyers that we want to be able to take out. And it does have reach too, so this can block Siren Storm Tamer and stuff like that all day long. Got a playset of Thrashing Brontodons just to bring in against the random matchups where it matters, probably the Reclamation decks and Search for Escanta and stuff like that. And 2 Vivian Reeds against the control matchup and against the same matchups I'm talking about, the Sylvan ramp decks and all that stuff. Just an outstanding, proven to be one of the best planeswalkers I think ever printed. It's up there. It's not maybe in the top 3 or anything like that, but it's definitely up there. Yeah, so this is Mono Green Stompy, or Mono Green Hexproof Stompy, and Ravnica Allegiance Standard. Let's check it out. Alright, match 1 with Hexproof Stompy. We lost the die roll. Our opponent leads off with a Watery Grave tapped. We decide to go for the turn 1 Pelt Collector. Looks like our opponent's on Grixis. No plays yet. We decided to go for the growth chamber a little prematurely because we want to pump our pelt collector though. Could have alternatively played a couple Landware Elves. So they immediately cast that down. Either way, our pelt collector gets pumped. Get him for 2. Opponent shocks himself. So I can get down a Legion War Boss. Makes him a token. Gets in for 1. We draw a Harpooner. Decide to go digging for a 3rd land. We find it. Decide to go digging again. Find us another Growth Chamber Guardian. Get us down a Landware Elf. Here I attack. I should have hung back and tried to trade with the Ward Boss or prevent him from attacking at least. I just figured his deck is probably full of removal. So opponent's getting aggro. I don't know why he didn't go in with the other token. I guess he doesn't want to trade with a Landware Elf. And he's got a Thief of Sanity. Fortunately, we got a Harpooner for that. So we decide to get down a Growth Chamber and a Harpooner. Pumps our Pellet Collector. Get to take out the Thief of Sanity. Get in for 4. Pellet Collector's getting pretty big now. Opponent has the cast down for our other Growth Chamber. Opponent goes aggro again. This time he's not holding anything back. So I decide to get in with my Pellet Collector. So at this point I'm still hanging on to the Blanchwood Arbor. I think that's another mistake. I should have at least tried to suit it up, tried to get something going here. But I'm just going to let my opponent run away with this game, it seems like. And with that Blanchwood Arbor in my hand for the most part. So that one Legion War Boss is going the distance. So I have to chomp a couple. And there's a siege gang. So of course if he untaps, I'm dead. So I'm just going through the motions here. There's no way I can win here unless he blocks incorrectly. But pretty much all he's got to do is put all his guys in front of it. And he does. So we're going to game 2. So sideboard, I've decided I wanted to take out a Galta and some Adventurous Impulses for 3 Prey Pawns. So this hand looks good enough to keep. Although a 1-drop would have been nice. There's that 1-drop. Anyways, we'll lead off with a Thorn Lieutenant. Opponent has Thought Erasure. Takes our Growth Chamber. Stacked with Blanchwood Armors. So we decide we're going to go ahead and suit up now. Get in a big hit. Opponent decides to go ahead and cast down the Thorn Lieutenant, giving us a token. So we go ahead and get in. Get us down a Landwar Elf and a Steel Leaf. Opponent just passes. So we're trying to diversify our threats, so we put the Blanchwood on our 1/1 token. Ooh, Moment of Craving. Blowout. Really would have liked to see a Vine Mare this game, or any of these games. We drew all Blanchwoods and no Vine Mare to go along with it. Would have made a big difference in this match. But we still got a pretty good presence on board. So we'll crash in. Opponent's got infinite removal. We still get him for 2. And we got the follow-up Steel Leaf. Bedevil takes down our Steel Leaf. But we have another follow-up decent card. Which, right here was a mistake as well. I should have kept up mana to be able to adapt the Growth Chamber. So this being the first game of the league, I definitely noticed my play wasn't too great in this matchup. And it gets hostage taken. So yeah, we could have at least adapted it and gotten another copy. But fortunately, he has to block this Blanchwood Armored Elf or he'll die, so we'll be able to get our guy back. Knock him down to 3. And he scoops it up. Alright. So we decided to bring in a couple Shaper's Sanctuary as well and take out some more Adventure's Impulse. This hand is kind of land heavy, but we'll still keep it. And that 5th land draw was not the best. Opponent's on the infinite removal plan. Unfortunately, no 2-drop. So we get him for 1, pass the turn. Opponent shocks himself so I can play a War Boss. Gets him for 1. Ouch. Another land, not good. So we have to hold back. Ooh, and he's got a second War Boss. This is going to be really difficult. Yeah, at this point, we're just too slow. Down to 14. And another land. We definitely got punished this time for keeping a more land-heavy opener. At least our guys are pumped up finally. But I think it's a little too late. Got a moment of craving for one of them. It's going all in. So now's our chance to get rid of these war bosses. But after taking this hit and what he's still got on the board, we're still in big trouble. There's a Thorn Lieutenant. At least one blocker. And we can pick off his biggest guy with our Prey Upon. See if that holds him off. so he carnages us, knocks us down to 3, and makes us discard our 2 lands. But he's not quite lethal yet. And we draw another blocker. Not bad. Kind of feels like there's still hope, but probably not. So we're top decking pretty good here. Starting to fill the board back up. Now we're equal on creatures, at least. Until that. But still, we could be in good shape. Thought Erasure, just so he can surveil. Ouch. So our opponent has to draw nothing here. So we play the land so we can pump Thorn Lieutenant if we need to. Must have drawn nothing. As did we. Engrath. Very nice draw for our opponent. So he can drain us for 2 and then attack in and for the win. So game 1 of the league, match 1 of the league down. See if we can do better. Alright, match 2. We'll be greedy and keep this because we got an Adventurous Impulse and a Lambor Elves to end the Steel Leaf Champion. Ooh, Mountain. What's the chances of our Lambor Elves? What's the chances of them surviving? That's the answer. Opponent's on Gruul. Alright, so double Pelt Collector it is. Opponent just passes with infinite removal. We decide to be greedy with our Pelt Collector pumps and play the Growth Chamber instead of the Steel Leaf. And it also allows us to Adventurous Impulse. They always want to kill the Growth Chamber. So that means we get in for 4. Not bad. Find us a Kroll Harpooner. Opponent's stuck on 2 lands though, so that's good for us. So we get to continue pumping up our Pelt Collectors. Go with a Steel Leaf. Crash in with our collectors. Another Lightning Strike takes one of them down. Hit him for 3. looks like still no third land for our opponent. So this is going to be an easy game. Lightning Strike number 3 takes down our Pellet Collector before it could get pumped. So we get in for 5 with the Steel Leaf. Knock him down to 8, and still no third land, draws a concession. So we decide to try a couple Shaper Sanctuary because they had nothing but removal. Take out a couple Adventurous Impulse and try it like that. This hand looks pretty good. Got our Sanctuary and a lot of early action. Since our opponent's leading off representing Shock again, we decided to go ahead and put the Sanctuary out first, just to kind of waste their turn, as well as get our Shaper Sanctuary down, of course. Opponent has their own Growth Chamber Guardian. It is double Pellet Collector time, backed up by the protection of Shaper Sanctuary. No plays for our opponent, holding up Adapt mana. So we actually won't be able to get in this turn unless we want to lose one of our Pellet Collectors, which we decided not to. So our opponent goes ahead and adapts. Rekindling Phoenix is going to be hard for us to deal with. And now we're starting to draw lands again. So we'll get the pumps going on our Pellet Collectors again. Still feel there's no good attacks right now. Opponent now has a flyer, can start crashing us every turn for 4. Especially when they have a backup Phoenix. Growth Chamber isn't bad. Still kind of stuck because of those Phoenixes, though. Trying to wait for an opportune time to be able to get a really good attack in, I guess. But I think we delayed one turn too long for this game. So opponent gets in and then follows up with a Spellbreaker. So 12 points kills us, 8 from a Phoenix, and if there were another 4 power could get through, that'll kill us. So we know we can play Galta here, so I just play out the Growth Chamber. And Galta. So right here I'm thinking I'm good to attack, and I pretty much am. It's time to attack, just leave back enough guys to where the only attacks that my opponent will be able to get in the backswing will be the flyers. So that's what I'm attempting to do here. So I probably could have swung with one more, but it's not going to matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because my opponent has the Hellkite. So they're getting in 12 in the air, and there's nothing I could do about it. There was no way I could change my attacks to prevent that, because the Phoenixes come back at the beginning with haste anyways. So, on to game 3. So I decide Shaper Sanctuary did nothing, absolutely nothing for me that game. So instead I think I want Prey Upons, take out some more Impulses, and get rid of the Shaper Sanctuary. Just, they didn't have any removal that game. This hand will work. So get down our Pelt Collector. Tap land for our opponent. Harpooner's pretty nice turn 2 play. Pumps our collector and keeps a decent amount of pressure on the board here. Even though we don't have a target for it. Get in for 2. Opponent shocks himself, so we can, I assume, hold up a removal spell. So we just go ahead and crash in. And there's a shock. Takes out our Pelt Collector. We still get him for 3. Opponent's having that 2 land problem again. So there's a Dire Fleet Daredevil just to block with first strike. So now I think it's a good time to suit up the Blanchwood so I can get past the Dire Fleet. Nice hit all the way down to 7. There's our 3rd land for our opponent at least. I think it's too little too late for our opponent though, because we have this huge Kroll Harpooner. And I messed up there because I was thinking that the Harpooner could get first struck down if they had Lightning Strike, but I forgot that I played a Forest and it pumped the Harpooner up to 6 toughness instead of 5. So I missed an attack right there. but it's not going to matter. Because we drop Galta. And that's enough to get our opponent to concede. Alright, match 3. Yeah, we'll keep. Pelt Collector, go. Opponent shocks himself. Shiv and Fire, taking down the Pelt Collector. Alright. We got a nice consolation turn 2 play. Not the best, but better than nothing. Search for his Kanta for our opponent. Looks like they're on some kind of splendid Reclamation deck would be my guess. No land there is kind of brutal. Although we can still get a Steel Leaf down. Opponent bends the Chemist's Insight. There's our land number 3. So we'll go in with the Steel Leaf. It connects, and they're down to 11. Attempt a Vine Mare. Gets countered, and they get to Surveil. They don't bend for search that time. There's the Reclamation. See if they can do anything with their mana. Nothing yet. Do a Galta check. Can't cast it yet. Time to try and diversify threats with the Blanchwood on the Landwar Elf. Gets countered. That means the shields are pretty much down for us to attack in though. Knock them all the way down to 3. Search bins a land. Another Reclamation. We're making a lot of mana. Kick Shiv and Fire. Takes out our Steel Leaf. That's a nice top deck. Something that can't be targeted. Get in for 1. Leave it up to our opponent to dig for some kind of answer to that Vine Mare. So Search is going to flip now. They bend a Growth Spiral. And cast a Growth Spiral. So they saw 1 extra card here so far. some mana. Activate Azcanta. And they find a Fiery Cannondale. So if they can find 2 of those, they can wipe our board. So they find one, or cast the 1, wipe away our Land War Elf. So they got to find something else to be able to finish off the Vine Mare here. So they're still digging. They find a Syncopate, which is not going to do it. So they cast that, even though I don't know what they're going to do with no mana, but so that's the end of it. So I take out a Blanchwood Armor, an Adventurous Impulse, and my Kroll Harpooners for playset of Brontodons and a couple of Vivian Reeds. This hand is good enough. Getting those land heavy draws again, though. I guess that's where Adventurous Impulse kind of helps with that. I do have a tendency to sideboard them out, so maybe that's why I'm getting more flooded in the second and third games. So let's get our second Pelt Collector down for now. Get him for 1. With hopes to pump those things into oblivion. Opponent has Growth Spiral. Shivan Fire takes out one of our Pelt Collectors. Getting greedy again, going for the 2-drop to pump our Pelt Collector so we can continually pump with the Steel Leaf and the Vine Mare. Get him for 2. Opponent's holding up, I don't know what over there. So I decided to attack here and not play a creature to pump up the Growth Chamber because to pump up the Pelt Collector because I want to hold up Adapt for the Growth Chamber here. So I just pass the turn, and when my opponent taps out, I go ahead and Adapt. So Growth Chamber is successfully adapted. Still got a lot of gas in my hand. Opponent's got Biogenic Ooze. Interesting. It's a nice army in a can. But fortunately, we're going to be able to grow our guys big enough to where we can attack past. So play a Steel Leaf. It's going to make everything either able to trade or attack past completely. So he decides to go for the trade with the token. Takes 4 down to 7. And we get down to Land War Elf. Opponent decides to shock. put a counter on the ooze and hold up 2 mana. So we swing in. Get rid of the ooze. We know he's holding up something, so we played the Thorn Lieutenant to see if it'll draw out a counter. And indeed it was. But for some reason it's a syncopate though, so I can pay for it. So I don't know. I guess he was just, it was a ditch effort. I don't know. He was hoping I would tap out more, or I don't know. So I got to resolve both of my spells, even though through a syncopate. It's kind of weird. So that was the match. Alright, match 4. Kind of land heavy, but we got an Adventurous Impulse, so we'll try it. Terramander for our opponent. Looks like we're playing mono blue. Impulse. Decide to get a Pellet Collector. Opponent opts. Looks like they may have opted to hit land number 2. And of course they got the Obsession, so they're drawing an extra card on turn 2 here. About as perfect of a start as they could ask for. Decided to just go with the Growth Chamber. Opponent's flooding the board with Siren, Storm Tamer, and Terramander. Get in with Growth Chamber. Get down a Pellet Collector. And a Thorn Lieutenant. Pumps our Pellet Collector. Opponent has double Curious Obsession now. It's going to be really hard to keep up with this. Opponent knocks us down to 11 and then opts. Decided to go attacking first. we'll go ahead and adapt our growth chamber. It's a pretty big hit. And we can follow up with an Adventurous Impulse. And our opponent does decide to Wizard's Retort that, so that felt pretty good to me that they used it on that. Trancing Melody makes this situation look pretty bleak. Our deck having pretty much no removal is the kind of matchup for sure that this deck wants to face up against. So we got a lot of gas in hand, but it's just all a little too late. Opponent decides to chump. Knocks him down to 8. We're just trying to put as many bodies on the battlefield as we can here. Opponent attacks in. I feel like we need to go ahead and try to trade that off the battlefield at this point. Pumps our Pelt Collector. Opponent draws 2 more cards. And it'd have to be a miracle for them to not have a Djinn, which they do. And a Mist Cloak Herald as well. So we weren't going to ever get in with that Steel Leaf. So we attack just to go through the motions, but there's no way we can get out of this game alive. Unless our opponent somehow messes up. Alright, on to game 2. So we decided to take out a Galta, a couple Adventurous Impulse, a Thorn Lieutenant, a Blanchwood Armor, to put in 2 Vivian Reeds and the 3 as token archers. We'll keep this because we got an archer and some other action. The Pelt Collector is looking like it could be kind of puny for a while though, unfortunately. Opponent's got the Pteramander. We'll see if they have an obsession again. Ooh. We are in one of those land-heavy situations again. I think if I were to play this deck in sideboard in the future, I would not be cutting the Adventurous Impulses all the time, and I would just shave down the individual creatures, because impulses will help you filter into, you know, the lands or creatures that you need. So we're gonna go ahead and get our value out of our as Token Archer after we get in with our Pelt Collector. Get that guy off the board before he can do anything. We're already lucky enough to not have gotten Curious Obsessioned, so opponent has Upkeep Merfolk Trickster here. Gonna prevent our Pelt Collector from getting pumped up for a turn. But it does let us resolve our Vine Mare. Opponent has no plays again during their turn. Decide to go for a Growth Chamber. He's got the retort for that. So we go attacking. We decide to go with the archer just to see if he'll fall for it and take one. But our opponent doesn't fall for it. So no free damage there. There's a Tempest Gen. And we start to draw nothing but land. I thought this game was looking pretty good too. So we serve in with the Vine Mare. If we hit, that's great. If he trades, it pumps up our pelt collectors. So we knock him down to 8, but unfortunately we have no follow-up gas. And now he's got the Curious Obsession going. So we decide we better keep him from drawing cards if we can, at least for one turn, with the hopes of drawing some gas. Not exactly what I was looking for. Better than nothing, I guess. Better than a land. So continue to try to get in here. Got another Trickster. Gonna tap down one of our pelt collectors. If we could have just had any other cards to pump these pelt collectors, that would have been another thing that would have made the game a lot different. So we're gonna get at least one pump here on our pelt collectors. But unfortunately we traded with the creatures we didn't want to trade. He still got the Tempest Gen with the Curious Obsession, so it's gonna make short work of us, especially if we don't draw any more spells. Trancing Melody gets one of our collectors, and we draw a land. So we decide to offer the trade. They take it. So we're just hanging on, hoping to draw just something. But our opponent's got a nice amount of cards in hand, a huge Tempest Gen with a Curious Obsession on it. So and a follow-up Gen. And Growth Chamber. So we decide just to mess around for a bit here. And then concede. Alright, last match. Let's see if we can get at least the 3 and 2 here. Oh, it's another one of those 4-landers, but we'll try it. Land goes for both of us. Okay. Chart of course for our opponent. Looks like they're on Drakes. So we'll get down our Thorn Lieutenant. Opponent's got an Enigma Drake. We're getting stacked up with lands again. Decide to bluff a attack here. Opponent doesn't fall for it. Get down our Growth Chamber Guardian. Opponent gets in for 1. Follows up a Chart of Course. And has a shock for our Growth Chamber Guardian. We have so many lands, but at least we got an Adventurous Impulse now. Get in for 2. We get to resolve Vine Mare. Opponent's got the Crackling Drake. Gets in the air with the Enigma Drake. Another land. Gotta love it. We'll go for the Galta. It's the biggest, baddest thing we could possibly do to get us out of this game, but it's not looking too good. Do a quick Galta check. Decide to hold back. Opponent ops. And ops. And dives down because they realize they have the kill here. Shock me. Puts their Drakes to lethal. And we go to game 2. So we decide to bring in all 4 Prey Pawns, a couple Vivian Reeds, and take out a Growth Chamber Guardian, a couple Adventurous Impulse, a Galta, and a couple Vine Mares. Gotta mulligan this. Alright, this is okay. Definitely bottom that. Get down a Pelt Collector. Opponent's got the Pteramander. But we top deck a Kroll Harpooner, that's kind of nice. Pump our Pelt Collector and keep the board clear. Get in for 2. Opponent's got the Shivan Fire for our Pelt Collector. So we'll get in for 3 with our Harpooner. Get down a Steel Leaf. Our opponent's having land troubles. They find the 3rd land and the Pteramander. So at this point, we just want to keep the board clear and as much pressure as possible. So we prey upon away the Pteramander. Get him for 8. Knock him down to 7. And go ahead and commit that Growth Chamber to the board too. Opponent decides to do a Desperation Chart, of course. They don't find anything, so they scoop it up. Decide to keep it the same way for sideboarding. And this hand looks pretty good. I think this will be the first time I've had triple Pelt Collector. If 3 Pelt Collectors can't apply some pressure, I don't know what can. So Pelt Collector number 1. Opponent charts a course. So that means we're going to resolve both of our other Pelt Collectors. So if all 3 of those guys live, it's going to be pretty interesting. Knock him down to 19. And our opponent's seen enough. Alright, so we ended up going 3 and 2, not too bad. At least got our points back and got a chest. We'll open the chest. And we get Total Jank. How appropriate. Got the Sphinx Bone one and what was the other one? Oh yeah, Persecute. So 50 cents in play points. Couple jank rares, good times. Hope you enjoyed.